whenever you're pressing down one of the strings, you know exactly what it's going to sound like. That is incredible. That's like a superpower when you're holding a guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Because you just can start to go. You can start at any chord, and you know what the progression will be from that one.
All right, and 3, 2, 1, action. We are live. Welcome.
Oh yeah, we always say that. No, I like that. Leave that.
We're not live.
We're alive. We are fucking live.
Okay. Sorry for whoever's listening. That it's the last 3 podcasts that we've said we're live now. We promise we'll try to stop.
You can always pretend that we're live, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
All right.
This is the Millennial Experience podcast, and I'm Luke Adamson.
And I am Eddie Ambrose.
And today we're going to be talking about music. We both happen to be musicians, and that's kind of the reason we ever met.
I guess that would be the foundation, in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, meeting up is separate, but where you connect, that's like, I mean, I guess sometimes in friendships it's immediate, but I don't know. When did we find out that we each played guitar? I don't know if it's something you just say immediately. I mean, we were outside of the band class with all the kids, so.
It was still music. I mean,
Right.
because we started off in drumline
Right.
together where
That's
we
right.
we ended up bonding over that in a way and just ended up
Mhm.
joking around, like
Mhm.
becoming like acquaintances.
Right.
But I think, when we really actually became friends was when we both started playing guitar together. Because that took us away from, took our, musical friendship to another level.
Right. To like a more personal. That's right. I mean,
Yeah.
because we already shared whatever it was in drumline.
With 30 other people.
Exactly.
And then that just took us.
Right.
There weren't really any other good guitarists in drumline. There was a couple people that played
could kind
guitar,
of play, yeah.
but they didn't take it very seriously.
You know, that was an interesting crowd, don't you think, in band? Like the characters that we met. Like, for example, actually, I don't know if we can name names.
Just don't name their names.
There was people who were multi-instrumental. And
That's true.
And they were really cool. Just in general, all around, they were people who, I mean, one thing that I really liked about band was probably how easy it was to connect. The fact that you were all in there for the music, in a way. You all had that sort of, that frequency. At least the same. Outside of all the other stuff, you may have liked anime and all this stuff. But at least there in music, yeah, you were like, you were around like-minded people. Everyone's chill. Kind of the way you feel at karaoke night. Everyone's there for karaoke night. So whoever you are right now, tonight, at that moment, you're doing that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which was nice about, I mean, that was different from being in other classes. If you were just like in chemistry or like English, like everyone was,
you didn't feel that bond.
Yeah, you didn't feel that bond.
Connection.
It was just like, hopefully you had a friend there. Hopefully you had like,
to distract you from the chemistry. Yeah.
To talk to.
I always, in drumline, I thought it was so weird that they tried to get us to learn how to play like marimba and xylophone and like these complex scales and stuff that I guess it's technically percussion.
Yeah.
But
it was good
to
learn that.
No, and I'm grateful for it.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful because that kind of got me on the music theory path. I wish I had taken music theory in high school and college. Like, I got a music degree in college, and I never took a music theory class.
In the end, that's really helpful. I mean, just to have that, especially if you're just going to take that path, just like absorb it all. Like,
because that translates to every instrument.
Mm-hmm.
If you learn music theory, you know the basics of major, minor chords and scales, what makes them up, why they sound good together, what emotions they evoke.
It's like the know.
And you can take that and really put it on any instrument. That's why people like composers like Mozart and Johann Sebastian Bach and all those guys that would put these huge symphonies where in their head they're hearing 35 different instruments that they're like, okay, in right here the harps need to come in,
right,
and they need to play like a minor seventh chord here because it's going to offset the trumpets or whatever, and that is real musicianship.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's the real deep knowledge. I remember growing up and just starting to play, like, I think I started out from drumline. Try to save up for like the cheapest. I started out with a first act drum set, real fucking quality
like
piece of shit. Yeah, and I was playing drums in a band with my brother and his friends. And it's funny because sometimes those bands fall together because of a lack of, you need someone to play this, and sometimes you have someone pick up an instrument just to,
you're like, you're the drummer
you're
now.
the drummer now,
Because we don't have
bass.
one.
Yeah, and so it was one of those bands, and by chance though, during that time I decided to learn a little guitar, thinking that understanding playing guitar, I could sort of read what was going on with my brother because he was playing guitar and his friend, and in picking up and moving so much. And if any drum set players are listening, how much of a pain in the fucking ass it is to move a drum set. And we're not talking about like, so moving from place to place, it was just sort of a pain in the ass with the drum set. And so guitar, since I was already kind of playing it, and since the drum is what you do, you do it as a pastime. Hopefully there's nobody home, and hopefully nobody cares if they hear you play, because
hopefully
it's not
you don't live in an apartment complex.
Because if you are not a professional, listening to you play is probably not that fun to do. And so, yeah, with shitty ass cymbal sound,
and your parents can't drown that out with headphones. Like, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, and so guitar was really convenient to have, because that was the one thing, since my dad played, that was the kind of the instrument that there was always sort of room for in the house, that always came with us in every truckload when we moved. And with us, since it wasn't certain what size of a place we were going to have, at one point we just had to get rid of the drum set. And so I kind of stuck along with guitar because of that, got better. But growing up, I always thought, people just pick it up and they're like all of a sudden really good. And I'm starting to realize a lot of the people I listen to, they're people who do know the theory, who even did grow up with classes. It wasn't just like, I like learn tab and stuff and learn some songs. And yeah, I'm absolutely sure there is that, but it is so much helpful, it's so much more helpful to have that understanding of the instrument you're playing.
It's invaluable.
It's invaluable, because then it's that plus your creativity, your imagination, not just you trying to learn and pick up things as you go along, but
it's
this now.
It's like being an architect that never took any design classes.
Right.
Like, you can maybe build a building and it might look cool, but is its foundation going to be strong? Is it going to make a lot of sense?
The quality,
the way it's put together. That's where it comes into play. Like, and that's would be my advice for anybody starting out playing guitar. It's going to be really, because this is the way I did it. I don't know about you, but it's going to be really tempting to just pick it up, learn a few chords, and try to play the songs that you like.
Right.
Which is going to probably be the thing that inspires you to play guitar. Right. So that's great. But you've got to force yourself to incorporate from the beginning the music theory along with it. Like, what are these chords? What is the backbone of the scales that make up these chords? Like, why is a triad a triad? And what makes a minor flat seventh chord, and when to use it? And that way, when you do get into writing music, if that's your path or your goal, it'll be so much easier, and it'll be like this whole different set of tools that you can pull out of your tool belt. Like, I'm going to use, this type of chord structure, or a minor scales or minor key for this song to try to give it a little bit of a darker tone, and knowing which minor chords already fit into that key.
Right.
You don't have to like sit there and look up each chord of the scale or whatever. So that's what I've been doing lately with this. I've been taking this guitar course online, and it's like kind of an advanced guitar class, but it really layers in all of the theory that I should have learned up to now, and kind of I'm restarting and relearning. And I've just, in the matter of a couple months, I've probably doubled my guitar skills after hitting a plateau for like the last
Right.
4 years.
Right. I agree. I was the same. Excuse me. I also picked it up that way. You know, you learn a couple of chords, you watch the person who you're kind of getting it from play, and then you learn more chords enough to start venturing out on your own favorite songs, and sort of you kind of just continue to do that. And so you learn chords based on the songs you decide to play. But occasionally, if you're like me, you might find a song whose chords you just don't agree with, the shapes, they're just too unfamiliar, and you sort of just find a version of that that just does the chords that you are familiar with, like maybe bar chords, you know. And what happens though is that you just sort of start creating a kind of cage around yourself about which chords, you know, you're gonna go ahead and let yourself use, rather than sort of venturing out, because then you also, if you're going to stick with a certain genre of music, you might end up in a spiral where that certain genre of music kind of always uses these chords and doesn't really diverge out that much. When I think of music theory and understanding the place on the fretboard, whenever your hands are laid across one of the frets, you can hear that note in your head. Whenever you're pressing down one of the strings, you know exactly what it's going to sound like. That is incredible. That's like a superpower when you're holding a guitar, because you just can start to go. You can start at any chord, and you know what the progression will be from that one. That's just insane. I mean, that's literally what you imagine a musician to be. The kind of people who could just pick it up and start doing a song. So yeah, music theory, I think, is that tool that helps you just like what's in your brain and your mind. That's what helps you manifest it down into the guitar, you know? So it doesn't take away from your creativity. It makes it better. It makes it more reinforced and solid.
And yeah, definitely. And say what you will about the people that write like Justin Bieber songs and
right.
and Taylor Swift and all those people, but they're masters of music theory. Like they may
know
not
what
be
people like.
They may not be real like complex artists, but they have mastered what they need to do, what tools they need to use music theory wise to trigger emotions in people, to, you know, create that sense of build up and the explosions of the chorus and the different things. Like they've learned all those triggers through music theory. And so it's really still an amazing talent that those producers and songwriters have that are putting these songs together, and the engineers that are putting them together in the studio. And yeah, so from now on, I'm going to be putting a lot more emphasis on my practice and stuff involving music theory, because just over a short amount of time, I mean, it's amazing the difference in being able to pick up the guitar, and it's like you see it in a whole different light once you can like read the whole neck. It's like you learn to like speak a new language rather than just playing open chords up on the first 3 or 4 frets all the time, or power chords. Like once you can take a C chord and you go, there's a C here, 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 all the way up the neck, then you can play.
You could do the C
all
anytime.
These different tones of each chord and like really change things around.
Right. I think that's true. You don't want to accidentally find yourself in a really constrained, sort of comfortable crater, because I mean it's outside of our comfort zone that we grow. So you really want to go ahead and try it out. And not only that, I mean, learning music theory is also good for the path of the creativeness in your head, the notes you want to put together and the music you want to produce with your hands. I mean, whether you want to do it professionally or not, I'm absolutely certain music theory is what's going to really bring your full potential out. Otherwise, you do have to think the fact that I don't know my way around this fretboard is really constraining the creative soul that you have, that you could really manifest, you know?
And that's, I think the tool belt is a really good analogy, because it's like, that way, if you're inside your mind, you may be the most brilliant musician of all time, but if you don't have the tools to like be able to just pull out that creativity and let it flow, you're not really going to make anything happen. So, and in the reverse, I think someone could learn everything there is to know about music theory, and if they don't have that creative mind,
Right. They'll
it's
just
still
put out
just going to
standard
sound
music.
robotic. And
Standard
like,
music, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which maybe that's what
Right.
top charting pop music really
It-
is.
Yeah, in the end.
It's the exact reverse of that.
But no, I mean, I think it's great because if through your music it's an expression, then it really shouldn't matter if you can make it likable to people. I just can't help but bring up Rage Against the Machine right now because that was a really, if you were to pitch that in words,
As a band,
as a
as
band,
concept?
what you were gonna do, literally everything about them, what you were gonna sing about, what the instrumentation was gonna sound like, and how you were gonna sing it. On paper, yeah, it would probably seem wacky when you compare it to it, like you said, the standard stuff. You know all the theory and stuff, but there's a creative element to Rage Against the Machine where it is music theory with the structures, but their own thing about mixing heavy metal and rap and funk, that's creativity. Yeah. That is the soul part. That is that special part of your brain, the one that no one else can have.
Oh yeah,
that's how you get that.
It's amazing. And I've heard John Mayer is one of my musical heroes, and I've heard him say before, like, the best way to find your sound as an artist is to start off by trying to sound like your favorite artist. Like if you're just obsessed with a certain musician and you just can't get enough of it, you think they're the coolest, you want to sound just like them, try to sound exactly like them, because in the process of trying to, your own little quirks are going to ring through. And when you hear those in the ways that you sound different from the artist, that's how you find your sound.
And you start picking it out.
Because you go, oh, that's me. Like
okay.
that, I sound different than John Mayer in that sense when I try my best to sound just like him. So then you emphasize and highlight those sounds, and that's how you really pull out your real, sound cool as an artist.
Fuck. Nice.
Yeah. But it's hard.
That's definitely a good exercise. I mean, I'm sure people sing along to their favorite songs and artists all the time, but yeah, I mean, to those listening, I would say pay attention to what's your note and what's their note, and just think about it.
The ways you sound different from them are things that you should grab onto and really, really capitalize on.
Focus on that.
Instead of being like, oh man, I don't sound exactly like them. Because nobody wants to hear another John Mayer.
Right.
Like they want to hear whatever's next.
The next other thing.
Someone that took his type of music to a new level. Right. Which is exactly what he did. Like he was just trying to sound exactly like Stevie Ray Vaughan when he first started playing. And in trying to like copy his voice and stuff, he found that like John Mayer-y kind of like
very nice
grungy poppy vocals that he has now. But all right, we are going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
See you soon. Oh. I heard you and me talk. Yeah. Is that a ghost thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't. Anyways, we're back.
We're back.
So
I wanted to. Yeah. Okay. How do you think a local Telluride Woodstock local musicians mini Woodstock would work if, like, organization wise, it'd be like informal? I mean, need organization, but it'd be informal. Do you know what I mean by informal? Like, this isn't some official music festival. Like, you can almost have it as coincidentally this many artists just happen to get together, run into each other, and take turns playing.
That would be cool.
Which would be yes.
It'd be it'd be kind of like an open mic, like a more structured open mic,
where everybody, like, you knew who was coming. Right. Yo.
How would we market that?
I guess you would have to post it on the deals pages.
Ooh, yeah. You're right.
Yeah,
sweet deals.
We could put it on the deals pages.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, and I think it'd just be a lot of fun. I mean, it's totally informal. No freaking pressure. I mean,
The problem is who's picking these artists because they're not all amazing. They're not even all decent.
I mean,
So,
I honestly wouldn't mind. I mean, if you are courageous enough to go up there and do your stuff, I think it's worth giving them a platform to do it.
okay.
I mean, cause cause look, understandably Woodstock had freaking the top of the top dogs, but that's why I said it'd just be a mini locals musician, little mini.
Are you picturing
Turn
this as like
Woodstock.
a big deal that happens that's well planned out, or is it like a recurring once a month
I
thing?
thought it'd be like something recurring and again informal, so I can't even say like every 6 months or every 3 months or like maybe something every week. But if it was if it was big, I don't know. I can't. Let's think of a hypothetical number. Is it not? Oh. A hypothetical number of musicians where you would say, dang, a lot of people came. And you're like standing in Town Park. Just imagine standing in Town Park by the big stage and you're looking around at everyone who decided to come, just hypothetically show up to this thing. It's like basically this is what it would be. You, your instrument, your band, whatever you need. Okay, your setup.
Power cables,
right.
a little stage,
Right, a little
or
stage.
or Town Park
Well,
stage?
I was thinking just Town Park
Ooh,
stage.
okay.
Just Town Park space. Town Park stage.
Uh-huh.
Your setup, your rig, you got it. If you have friends who are musicians who are showing up and you're missing a cable, cool, they got you. Cool. And you do your set, possibly covers your version of them, but your thing, right? And basically your audience is all the other musicians, which is pretty dope
And
because
their
you're in good
friends
company. And anybody else who
was at the park.
was at the park and was like, what's going on? You hear the freaking riffs
I wonder
playing.
if we'd need a permit or anything. We
to
could
do
just talk
something
to like
that.
the city of
Right.
Telluride and see if we could just do that. The thing is, they've got events going on, and you'd have to like.
So what if it was acoustic strictly?
That'd be cool.
It needs less organization, I think.
Yeah, someone would have to plan out around the schedule of whatever events are going on at
Town
Town
Park.
Park throughout the summer.
Right. But if it was like something at the end or the beginning of every month, I don't see why. I mean, that sounds like it'd be a lot of fun because, you'd have your people who could show up that day or couldn't. But you definitely, if you were a musician who did like to go to the Telluride Mini Woodstock Fest, you would probably be really heartbroken to not be able to make it to one.
This could be one of those cool like hipster Telluride events that's like off the record, but that the cool people
like
know
the
about.
Nothing Festival.
Like the Nothing
Yeah.
Festival.
Mhm.
And 20 years from now, it'll be like a big
It's huge.
event that we can look back
That
on.
like
and,
locals
say
are
that
the
we started.
headliners.
Yeah. You have to be a local to play. That's the one stipulation.
That sounds amazing.
It's we could just start it. We could just find other artists we know of
And
that we
just
like. Just
Shout out
some
to Park,
other
everybody
friends.
do 3 or something.
Everybody-
Yeah.
It's like a slightly more organized open mic in the park. Like
And doing it
once
outside,
a month or something for the summers.
and doing it outside given the circumstances is kind of nice. I'm really missing karaoke, by the way, as we're talking about this. Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun to do.
Yeah.
How do you think if we did go acoustic and having the number of people there? So let's say that we just decided to sit on the ground in front of Town Park stage. And we just had a little way to lift the people up, something that can be carried by 2 people. Do you think you would need any amplification if there was a lot of people?
Oh yeah. If there was more than 100 people watching,
Then you
would-
need to start amplifying.
If everybody, it would have to be like a library setting where
so-
everyone's just gathered around sitting and watching
and
really
watching,
closely.
right.
If you wanted
Which
to
is
do it pure
doable.
acoustic.
Which is doable if we were realistically thinking we would start out with something like 5 musicians or
Mhm.
bands, and everyone doing their little set. But I guess if you have a drum set in the band, I mean, you know what though?
You would have to have amps if you had a drum set. Maybe a
Right.
cajon.
So I'm thinking, you would have to adapt to an acoustic set if you do have a drum set. Sorry, we're all just talking about the beginning of this.
You're witnessing the beginning.
You're witnessing the beginning. But if anyone had feedback, I mean, comment. I mean, if you live here, if you're from Telluride, Colorado, and you thought it'd be fun to just have a kickback, a musician's kickback in the park.
Let us know.
Just like how fun that sounds to you, if you would be willing to show up. I mean, I know that'd be a lot of fun for me to just like roll up, park, and you know exactly where you're going. You're walking up, you see the group of everyone with all their instruments and stuff. I mean, honestly, that just sounds like a lot of fun. Just an evening in Town Park playing some like acoustic sets.
Let's do it.
And it'd be kind of fun.
Even if it's just you, I, and a couple of other friend artists at first.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just go play for each other and just...
That sounds like a lot.
Down the road, maybe more and more people will start coming. That reminds me. So my uncle runs a camp at Burning Man. And I guess because of COVID this year, Burning Man... The creators of Burning Man got together with a bunch of like programmers, and they built a virtual playa, like the whole Burning Man like place, the city. They built it in a virtual world,
like an Oculus,
in like a 3D VR world where people are going to be able to still go to Burning Man, and you'll have like an avatar. And like
Ready Player
you
One,
can go around to the different camps and watch all the artists are gonna be playing over Zoom or like over Twitch and stuff like that. And so they'll still be up on stage, like on a screen, like playing. So you can still go and see all your favorite artists that we're gonna be playing. You can like still go and walk around and see all the art installations, which will just be up on a screen, like in the virtual world. So. But my uncle, he's going to let me play. He hooked me up with a slot, like a Zoom set.
Okay, that's
at
awesome.
His camp at Burning Man. So.
I was like moments away from asking you, can I go to?
I don't know if it's going to be free or if you're going to have to pay like the normal Burning Man rate to go into this virtual world. Or I don't know what's going on with it, but... I'm going to play a little set. Should be cool. Dude,
that's really cool. Well, how do you... Oh, you're right. That's what you're saying. You don't know if you'd have to pay to be able to, like, watch you.
Yeah. I don't know.
I can just stand outside while you're doing the Zoom.
You'll just stand behind me.
Live.
You're just, like, hyping me up. Yeah, but cool. I would love to play at Burning Man in person. Hopefully, this will be my, like, in. And then... maybe next year if it's back to normal and everything's open again, I can actually go physically play and like network with all the other artists that show up, because there's a lot of like nationally touring artists that go and play. So
that sounds freaking really cool.
So what got you into music to begin with? What was your first your first musical experience? My
first musical experience, I guess if you take my earliest memory, it's singing in church.
Nice, bro. Me too.
Yeah. And my mom made a comment to me later on. She said that my dad always thought that I was always singing in tune.
Better than the other kids?
And so, there was a lady in front of us who sang out of tune. I knew she was out of tune. And I knew she was out of tune because it bothered me how she was singing. I don't know if everyone else around could tell. Or I don't know if you have a tin ear, you can't tell when you have a tin ear, but that was bad. But what got me into music flow, I guess into it and something that inspired me, I guess it was the bands I listened to, particularly Led Zeppelin is what really inspired me into the rock band, rock and roll, who I am, scene. I was big on Led Zeppelin and Jet, and so being in a rock band was kind of like where I found my thing, learning how to play guitar, and then it sort of just stuck with me where it was like, I understood now why whenever we moved, the guitar always came too. It's like I would probably never leave my guitar behind ever.
Yeah.
As long as I can carry it.
Man, and as a drummer, having to haul the drum set to gigs in
Mhm.
particular, like being a guitarist is so much easier at that point.
You don't even have
Because
the
you know
drummer
the
sometimes.
bassist and the guitarist are not gonna help the drummer bring his shit in.
That sucks.
Like he's got to take 35 trips to the car when they're already inside, like talking to girls,
And then all the
hanging
time it
out.
takes to put up the thing, take off the loosen the screw, put up your cymbal. However many cymbals you have to do that many times. Did you take
But-
apart your hi hat or not?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, and you've got a mic. If you're using like amplified sound, you have to mic every single piece of the drum set, like the cymbals individually. When you're recording in a studio, it's the same way. You've got to like make sure you have to tune up each of the toms, make sure it matches. Like, and the guitarist, all you have to do is just pull it out of the case and plug it in.
Yeah.
And so it's just way more satisfying.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I definitely do not regret my being in a little rock band when I was younger. Definitely a lot of fun times. But yes, I
And then
think,
drumline came next.
and then yeah, so let's see. Drumline I would have started in 5th grade. It would have been around the same time. It was around the same time because I've been in band playing snare since 5th grade. That was the same 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. And then Whitchurch came in junior year for me. And then it was senior year. And
Those are our band teachers.
and so with band, I can definitely tell that you don't just stay in band for so many years without the fact that you don't get bored with music. You like it, whatever its frustrations. However early you have to get up in the morning to run laps for being late, like it's fine. It's for the music.
Yeah. That was good training for being a musician later in life, because it doesn't get easier.
Yeah.
Like you have to still sacrifice to make time to play music.
Yeah. And the hauling shit around, that's always the same. So long as you're playing an instrument, band class or rock band or like real professional, until you have roadies, it's you're hauling your stuff, your amp, everything. Yeah. You're carrying that shit.
That is one thing about this like new world we live in that I actually really like. Like, as fun as playing shows and being able to connect with people in person is, it's really nice being able to just make music in your own house and like just play at home and stream for people and things like that, because it's a hassle, like hauling to a venue, setting everything up. And maybe, it would be different. It would be way more fun to go out and play if you went out to like promote your new album, played a big show where 1,000 people showed up and they're all singing along to your songs and like stuff like that. But the way I've played music around here, where I just go to a coffee shop and I play purely cover songs that just the tourists really want to hear, that they'll sing along to.
Love it.
It feels.
Love it.
I did not love it.
I love that.
That's like, to me, it's like, I'd rather work in an office than play cover songs for tourists for a living, because it's, I don't know, it just seems ingenuine.
That's just a foot in the door, though, because it's up to you whether you're gonna keep doing the covers or if you're also gonna use it as a platform automatically, because you can do that. Dude, seriously, because the person who decides to keep playing covers risks just someone going, they only play covers.
And in a small tourist town, that's not the way to do it. For all you musicians out there, the way to become a famous musician is not to play covers for tourists, because first of all, they're going to come and see you play one night and then they're leaving town and maybe never coming back. They're going to forget your name. They're not going to look you up, especially if all you played was cover songs. I imagine it would be much different in like a big city like New York or LA, where there's people that live there that are consistently going out to hear live music. And when they find an artist that they really like, a local artist, they're going to keep supporting them and coming to their shows and finding them on social media and stuff. But in a town where people just come into town for a weekend to go skiing and then leave, you're not building a hometown fan base. And I think it's just not the ideal situation to break out as a musician, in my opinion. Because the way to make it is like you've got to have that you've got to be the star of your hometown. Like everyone living in town has to know you as the good artist in town. And then when you start touring around, you have that social proof of everyone from your hometown is hyping you up and buying all your music and supporting you. So you can start expanding out into the other towns around you and touring around with this already consistent fan base. But you can't do that if your whole fan base is just tourists.
I'll do it for the tips, PM.
And if you like playing covers and then that just makes you happy, I could see that
instead of Uber.
You're just never going to make money. You're never going to make money doing it. Oh man, playing music at a wedding is the epitome. Like that's my idea of hell. I would rather work at a McDonald's than play a bunch of cover songs for a bunch of drunk people at a wedding. Dude, that is
so much fun, man. That is so much fun.
Not me.
I love that. I mean, as someone who doesn't have time to like sit down and write their own music, I love the artists I cover, and since I enjoy playing their songs anyway, for me it's sort of I mean, for someone who's not on the pathway to musicianship, for me it's like a PM job that's just fun. I mean, especially if you like playing the songs that you like to play, you have an opportunity to play them over and over again for tips.
Yeah.
If you have a day job already, and you have a local place at night, which is convenient in a town like this. If you're just doing it for that, a town like this is also good for that.
That's true.
Which I think it's great for anyone who's just like not taking it too seriously. But all musicians, serious and not, are welcome to our hypothetical
fake Woodstock
musicians kickback. That's right.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm sure we're going to talk about music a lot more over the following 1,000 podcasts because we're musicians and that's what we love to talk about. We love to play. So, if you're a musician, hit us up.
Yeah,
we'd love
comment,
to hear from you.
Please.
Let us know what you think about our idea to put on like a mini open mic / Woodstock in our hometown. And thanks for listening. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.